Brenda stands near the front door. She fans herself with a paper plate. The plate has "Happy Birthday" on it. She calls across the store. "Shirley girl, how are you not dead in that thing?" "I run cold," I say. That is my answer. I say it 4 or 5 times a week. It is the easiest answer. Nobody asks more questions after that. My shirt is dark green. It has long sleeves. Under the shirt, I wear a beige compression sleeve on my left arm. The sleeve is the kind nurses use after surgery. It is thin, so it does not show under cotton. I buy it at Walgreens on Salem Avenue. It costs $12.99. I buy a new one every 3 months. The old ones get soft and loose. A loose sleeve moves around on its own. A moving sleeve is a problem. Every morning before work, I lay out my shirt and my sleeve on the bathroom counter. I check the sleeve first. Sometimes the edge gets loose or soft too fast. Then I throw it out and get a new one from under the sink. I keep 2 extra sleeves there at all times. I always have a backup. I have rules about my left arm. I do not reach with my left hand in front of customers. I keep my left side close to the shelf or the wall. I do not think about these rules now. I made them a long time ago. They are just what I do. The burn came from a house fire. I was 14 years old. The fire took my left arm and my left shoulder. The skin there is tight now. In some places, it is shiny. Near my elbow, it is a darker pink. The edges of the worst part feel ridged. The doctors at Miami Valley Hospital fixed what they could. My mom paid those bills for 6 years. I do not think about the money now. My arm is just a fact about my body. It is like asthma or a bad knee. It is something I have. That is all. I do not tell people about the fire. I do not tell them about the hospital. I do not tell them about the bills or the 6 years. I do not tell them anything. I work 2 jobs. Days. I work at Dollar General on Salem Avenue in Dayton. 3 nights a week I work for ABM Industries. ABM cleans the Anthem Blue Cross building, downtown on 3rd Street. I like that job more. No one is there after 9 at night. I can wear short sleeves in the Anthem elevator at midnight. No one sees me. There is a new cashier here named Destiny. She started 2 weeks ago. One morning, I reached up for a box on a high shelf. My sleeve slipped a little. Destiny looked at my arm. She smiled at me. I do not know what that smile was about, but that night, I decided she talked about my arm with the other girls. I decided she told Brenda. I was not warm to Destiny after that day. I do not think about this much. I note it as a fact about her. One other time, a man came to my register. He looked at my arm and said, "What happened?" I said I burned it cooking. He said, "That must have hurt." I said yes. He nodded and took his bags and left. The whole thing took about 20 seconds. I thought about it for 3 days. I did not have a boyfriend for 3 years. I want one. But the 3rd date is always the same. The sleeve comes up, or someone asks a question. Or worse, no one asks. They just look at my arm. I see the look on their face, and then things change. The store smells like cleaning products from aisle 4. Near the front door, there is a small popcorn machine. The fake butter smell from it goes everywhere. It is not a good smell. It is just the smell of this store. It is a slow Tuesday in late July. I stand at register 3. Miles comes in. He is a regular. He comes on Tuesdays and sometimes on Fridays. He buys almost the same things every time. He gets a large orange Gatorade. He gets a granola bar with oats and dark chocolate. And he gets one thing from the clearance rack near the entrance. Last week, he got a set of bungee cords. The week before that, he got a pack of AAA batteries. He wears a gray work shirt with rough electric stitched above the pocket. His hands always look a little dirty. Not very dirty. Just the kind a quick sink wash does not fully fix. I scan his things. I do not think much about him. Then one day, he brings a box of contractor trash bags to my register. The shelf tag says $4.79. My register shows $5.49. He notices right away. That said $4.79 on the shelf, he says. 1 second, I say. I call Brenda on the radio. We wait. He says, I'm sorry. I know it's not your fault. I look at him. Customers do not say that. Usually they look at me like I broke the store myself. I do not say anything back, but I look at him a second longer than I need to. Brenda comes and fixes the price. The bags go through at $4.79. After that, I start to notice small things about him. He reads the label on his Gatorade every single time. Same orange flavor. Same label every week. It does not change. He reads it anyway. When he says have a good one at the end of a transaction, there is always a pause. He pauses before the word one, like he starts to say something else. Then he changes his mind. He has a small scar on his chin. White, about 1 inch long, slightly raised. I notice it the third or fourth time he comes to my register. I do not look for it. I just see it one day. I do not feel a big thing about him at first. What I feel is comfortable around him. That is unusual for me. Comfortable is not easy for me with most people. He keeps coming in every week. Tuesdays mostly. Sometimes Fridays. Orange Gatorade. Granola bar. One thing from the clearance rack. 1 week, it is a small flashlight. 1 week, it is a pack of zip ties. Once, it is a bottle of extra-strength ibuprofen. I scan everything, and he pays and he goes. Sometimes he comes in and Brenda is at my register. He looks for me. He finds me in the aisle or at the other register. He gets in my line. He does not say anything about this. I do not say anything either. I just scan his things and give him his total. Same as always. But I notice, one Tuesday in early August, the store is a little busy. Miles comes in. He gets in my line and waits. 2 people are ahead of him. He gets to my register. He says, long day. I say, yeah. He pays and goes. It is the shortest talk we ever had, but he said it to me, not to the air. That is how it goes for about 2 months. Then one Tuesday, the store is very slow. Brenda is in the back. The planogram says we put out Halloween things in late July. Brenda thinks this is not right. But the planogram is the planogram. She unboxes plastic pumpkins in the back in the middle of summer. Outside, it is still 91 degrees. There is no one behind Miles in line. He puts his things on the belt. He does not pick up his bag right away. He says, "What's your name?" "Shirley," I tell him. "Miles," he says. Then he says, "I've been coming here 2 months." I never asked. I noticed, I say. I want to take that back right away. It sounds like I watched him the whole time. He smiles. He does not make it a strange moment. He just smiles and picks up his bag. He says, "See you, Shirley." The next customer puts a basket on my belt. I scan her things. She pays and leaves. I do not remember any of it. My mind is somewhere else. Brenda comes up front to restock the candy display. She says something about the heat outside. I say yes. I do not know what she asked. That night at the Anthem building, I mop the main lobby floor. The floor is light beige. It shows every streak if you rush. I mop slowly. I think about the way he smiled. I tell myself it means nothing. He is just a friendly person. He probably asks everyone's name. But I also know what I am doing. I build a wall before there is any reason to build one. I know this about myself. I do it anyway. On Friday, he comes in again. He picks up his Gatorade. He walks to my register. He says, "Hi, Shirley." Just 2 words and my name. I think about it for the rest of my shift. It is the first time anyone at this store used my name when it was not a complaint. 3 more weeks go by. It is now mid-August. The heat outside did not break. I got a lighter compression sleeve at the start of the month. The material is thinner, but my rule about long sleeves did not change. Miles and I talk a little every week now, not long conversations. The line moves and people wait, but they are real conversations. He tells me his truck needs new tires. He keeps putting this off. New tires for an F-150 cost a lot. He has other jobs to finish first. One day, he tells me about a school gym in Kettering. He fixed the floor lights there. One teacher called him the electric man all day. He says this in a way that is a little funny and also a little tiring. I tell him I have a cat named Harold. He does not say, "Aw, how cute," the way most people do. He says, "What kind?" I tell him I do not know. I got Harold from the Franklin County Dog Shelter. They said he might be part Maine Coon. He is very large. He is very serious about everything, Miles says. They say that about every big cat. I laugh. A real laugh, not a polite one. He looks a little proud of himself. I do not usually tell people about Harold. The weeks go by. We talk a little more each time. He tells me the Oregon district job went well. He asks if I like my night job. I tell him I like the quiet of it. I like being in a big empty building after midnight when no one is there. He says, "That would be strange for me." I say, "I know it's strange." He nods once. He just takes it in. Like information. He comes in the next Friday. He does not stay long. He gets his Gatorade and his granola bar. He picks one thing from the clearance rack. This time it is a pack of rubber gloves. He puts them on the belt. He says, "For painting, not electric." I say, "Good to know." He smiles and goes. One Friday afternoon, the store is quiet. Brenda is in the back. There is no one behind Miles. He puts his Gatorade and granola bar on the belt. He is quiet for a moment. Then he says it fast. "Do you want to get food sometime?" 2 things happen at the same time. One thing is warm. It is somewhere in my chest. One thing is cold. It is in my stomach. I say, "Maybe." He nods. Maybe is a real answer to him. He does not push. He says, "Okay, you know where to find me." He picks up his bag and walks out. That night at the Anthem building, I mop the marble lobby floor at 11. Marble shows every streak if you rush. I mop in slow, straight lines. I think about the third date. Not the first. The third. I think about the sleeve going up. I think about his face when he sees my arm. I ran this scene in my head many times. I know every version of it. The pity version, the quiet version, the what happened version, the pretend version. Not one of them ends well. So, I write a text in my head. Hey, I thought about it. I don't think it's a good idea. Sorry. I hold my phone in my hand. I am going to send it. I do not send it. Not because I am brave. I am not brave. I put the phone back in my pocket because I am tired. I said no to myself so many times. I am tired of how easy no is. 2 days later, on a Sunday morning, I text him. Just one word. Okay. He texts back in about 4 minutes. Saturday? Lupe's on Brown Street? I say yes. That week, I do not sleep well on Wednesday night. I get up at 2 in the morning. I sit in the kitchen. Harold sits on the counter and watches me drink a glass of water. He blinks slowly. He does not worry about things. I think he is right. I spend the week thinking about the date, not my outfit. I think about the sleeve. I stand in front of the bathroom mirror one morning. I look at my left arm. The inside of my elbow is the worst part, darker pink there, ridged at the edge. The texture is not smooth. I look at it for a while. Then I put my sleeve back on. Harold sits on the toilet tank and watches me. He blinks once. He has no opinion about any of this. I pick a dark blue long-sleeve shirt for Saturday. It is 84 degrees outside. The shirt is not light, but I always wear long sleeves, so I put it on. Lupe's Taqueria is on Brown Street. It is not a fancy place. The tables have paper placemats. The salsa comes in small plastic cups. A small TV above the bar shows a soccer game. The sound is off. I get there, 5 minutes before Miles. I slide into a booth. I put my left arm below the table edge before he arrives. I do this automatically. I did it in every restaurant for 18 years. Miles walks in. He looks different, without his rough electric shirt. He wears a plain white t-shirt and jeans and clean boots. He looks a little nervous. This surprises me. I thought only I would be nervous tonight. He sits down. He looks at the menu for a moment. He says, I've been here before. I always get the same thing. What do you get? I ask. Carnitas tacos, he says. Every time. Then why did you look at the menu? I say. He puts the menu down. I don't know, he says. He looks a little embarrassed. I feel better after that. We talk. He tells me about a rewiring job in an old house in the Oregon District on 5th Street. The person before him ran extension cords through the walls. He says this is not legal and not safe. He tells me about a kitchen fire he saw last year in a house in Huber Heights. It was a grease fire. The people there tried to put it out with water. He tells me this story without knowing why. I go very still for a second. I keep my face normal. He does not notice. We talk about Harold. He says his mom had a cat named Commissioner. Commissioner lived to 22 years old. I laugh. A real laugh. He looks a little proud of that. We order. He gets the carnitas tacos. I get the enchiladas with red sauce. He asks if I want to share the elite. I say yes before I think about it. The food comes. The restaurant is warm. Other tables fill up around us. I keep my left arm below the table edge. We talk and eat. He asks me about the ABM building. He asks what it looks like after midnight. I tell him it is very clean. It is bright. It is empty. I tell him the lobby has marble floors. He says, I did night shift electrical work once. A big building downtown. It is a different world at night. I say yes, it is. The enchiladas are good. The red sauce is not too spicy. I eat more than I plan to. He finishes his tacos fast. I say, did you even taste those? He says, I was hungry. He looks a little embarrassed again. I do not say anything. I just push the last piece of elote toward him. Then he reaches across the table for the salsa cup. His elbow hits my water glass. The glass tips, not all the way over, just enough. Water goes across the paper placemat and onto my sleeve, my left sleeve. I stand up fast, too fast. The sleeve is wet. The compression sleeve under it is wet. The dark blue cotton clings to my arm. The compression sleeve under it makes a strange shape in the wet fabric. My sleeve rides up about 2 inches. I try to pull it down. The wet fabric does not move. I look up. Miles already has napkins from the dispenser on the table. He blots the table. He does not look at me. He puts a stack of napkins in my hand. He says, I'm so sorry. I'm such a... And then he stops. He stops because he looks at my arm. My face goes hot. The wet fabric is cold on my skin. I stand there and wait. I ran this scene in my head so many times. I know what comes next. I wait for the look. He does not look shocked. He does not look away fast and pretend he did not see. He looks at my arm the way you look at a street you drove down 100 times. He is not surprised. He knows this. He says, quietly, I've seen them before. From the first week, I do not move. I say, you never said anything. He says, it wasn't mine to say. I sit back down. My sleeve is still pushed up. My arm is still on the table. The salsa cup is still in the middle of the table. The soccer game is still on the TV with no sound. Everything looks the same, but something is different. I do not pull the sleeve down. I do not know why. Maybe because he already knows. Maybe because I am tired. The same tired from 3 weeks ago, when I put my phone back in my pocket. Instead of sending that text, I start to talk. I say, I was going to say cooking accident, a kitchen fire, a small, clean story. No one asks questions after a cooking accident. I had that story ready for years. I used it maybe 30 times. It comes out faster than the truth. Miles shakes his head. A small shake. Not rude. He says, you don't have to tell me. I stop. He says, I mean it. You don't owe me a story. I sit there. The restaurant makes noise all around me. A child at the next table asks for more chips. A mariachi song plays low on the speakers. Someone's order number gets called. My arm is on the table. The wet sleeve is pushed up. My scars are right there. And I notice something. I do not say it out loud. The lie was already in my mouth. I had it ready before he could ask. He did not ask. He never asked. Not in all the weeks at my register. Not tonight. Not ever. And I was going to give him a fake story anyway. automatic, like a reflex. I am so used to hiding that I tried to hide from someone who was not looking. I do not say this. I just sit there for a moment. Then I pick up my fork. The Elite is really good, I say. He picks up his fork. Yeah, he says. We eat. 3 days after the date, it is Sunday afternoon. I sit on my couch. Harold is on my feet. My phone is on the cushion next to me. Miles texted me Sunday morning after the date. He said, "Good morning. I had a good time." I read the text 5 times. I did not answer for 2 hours. Not because I played a game. I did not know what a normal answer looked like. I think about Lupi's, not the wet sleeve. I think about the lie. It was so ready. I used it maybe 30 times in my life. A cooking accident. It is a clean story. Short. No one asks questions after that. And I was going to give it to Miles before he asked anything. He never asked anything. I do not feel good about this. It is not a nice thought. It is more like finding an old grocery receipt in a coat pocket. Not painful, just strange. Oh, so that is what I do. Brenda tells me something at work that same day. She says Destiny learned the store price match policy in her first week. She explains it to customers who look confused. She does this on her own. No one told her to. Brenda says, "She asked about you, actually. She said, you seem nice, but you never talk to her." I drink my coffee from the break room. It is burnt. It is always burnt because no one cleans the machine. I do not say anything to Brenda. I just think about the smile I decided was about my arm. I do not know if I was right or wrong. Maybe I will never know. That afternoon on the couch, I text Miles. I had a good time too. Harold says hi. He texts back, "Tell Harold I'll bring him a Gatorade." I text, "He doesn't drink Gatorade." He texts, "Then I'll drink it for him." I smile at my phone. Harold moves from my feet to my lap. He is heavy. He turns in a circle 2 times. Then he sits down. He puts one paw on my phone. I move his paw. He puts it back. I leave it there. We sit like that for a while. The afternoon light comes through the window. Harold closes his eyes. That evening, I get ready for my ABM shift. I put on my work pants and work shoes. I stand in the bathroom. I look at my left arm in the mirror. I pick up the compression sleeve. I hold it for a second. Then I put it down. I put on the thin gray long-sleeve shirt instead. No compression sleeve under it this time. I can see the shape of my arm through the cotton. I can see the ridged part near my elbow. I put on my jacket anyway. I am not healed. I am not fixed. But he saw it. He did not leave. He asked me about Elote. That is new. That is enough for tonight. If you liked this story, please like this video and share it with a friend. And if you want more stories like this one, subscribe to Teddy English Story. New stories come every week. See you next time.